Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. At first I offer my humble prayers in the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. I also extend warm greetings and respect to all of you. Today from the scripture UDDHAV GITA, the last message of Lord Shri Krishna, we will be listening chapter 20, where Lord is instructing his dear friend and devotee UDDHAV ji about the Gunas and their effects. The holy words from the scripture are as follows. The Lord said, O best of men, learn it of me as I tell you how a man is affected by each of the gunas unmixed with the others. Control of the mind and the senses, fortitude, discrimination, devotion to duty, truthfulness, compassion, circumspection, contentment, generosity, dispassion, faith, shame, charity, and the like, all taking pleasure in the self. Desire, activity, pride, covetousness, haughtiness, praying for comforts, seeing of difference, sense pleasure, a militant disposition due to pride, love of fame, making fun, display of powers, and aggressive enterprise, anger, greed, falsehood, cruelty, begging, simulation of piety, fatigue, quarrel, grief, infatuation, dejection, a miserable feeling, sleep, expectation, fear, and inertia. Thus have I almost exhaustively described the effects of sattva, rajas, and tamas in order. Now listen to the effects of the mixed gunas. The ideas of I and mind, O Uddhava, constitute the effects of the mixed gunas, since all intercourse through the mind, sense objects, organs, and pranas is the effect of a mixture of the gunas. When a man is devoted to the performance of his duty, to the acquisition of wealth, and to the satisfaction of his desire, this is the result of a mixture of the gunas. These contribute respectively to faith, to riches, and to attachment. When a man is attached to a course leading to material prosperity, when he devotes himself to a householder's life and also to the performance of his duty, it is a case of a mixture of gunas. By control of the mind and the like, a man should be inferred as possessed of sattva, by desire and so forth as possessed of rajas, and by anger etc. as possessed of tamas. When a man or a woman worships me with devotion through works without any selfish motive, they should be known as possessed of a sattvika temperament. When they worship me through works or some definite purpose, they should be known as possessed of the rasika temperament. And if thereby they meditate injury to others, they should be considered to have a tamsika temperament. The gunas, sattva, rajas, and tamas affect not me, but the jiva. They manifest themselves in his mind and serve to bind him by attaching him to material objects. When sattva, which is bright, pure, and placid, overcomes the other two gunas, then a man is endowed with happiness, virtue, knowledge, and the like. When rajas, which is characterized by attachment, differentiation, and activity, overcomes tamas and sattva, then he gets work, fame, opulence, and pain. When tamas, which is characterized by infatuation, ignorance, and dullness, overcomes rajas and sattva, then he is stricken with grief, infatuation, sleep, cruelty, and expectation. When the mind stuff is cheerful, the senses subdued, the body intrepid, and the mind unattached, know that to be sattva, through which I am realized. When a man under the influence of work has his intellect going hither and thither, the sensory organs restless, the organs of action is in a frenzy, and the mind wandering, know by these signs that rajas is up. When the mind stuff being fatigued is unable to reflect the self and groups, when the mind is vacant and there are ignorance and dejection, know these to be the sign of tamas. When sattva increases, the gods, O Uddhava, gain in strength. When rajas increases, the asuras prevail, and when tamas increases, the rakshasas. From sattva one should expect wakefulness in a man, from rajas dreams, and from tamas deep sleep. The fourth or superconscious state persists through all the three. Through sattva men rise higher and higher up to the sphere of Brahma. Through tamas they sink lower and lower down to the state of vegetable existence, and through rajas they remain between these two stages. People dying when sattva is predominant go to heaven. When dying when Rajas is up remain in the human plane, and those dying when Tamas prevails go to hell. But those who are above the three gunas attain to me alone. One's own duty, if done for my sake or without any desire for fruits, are sattvika. Work done with a desire for fruits is rajasika, and that attended with cruelty, etc., is tamas. The knowledge of the existence of the self is sattvika, and that of a body, etc., is rajas. The knowledge of a child, etc., is tamas, and that which is concerning me is beyond the gunas. The forest is called the sattvika dwelling, the village is rajas, a gambling den is tamas, and my abode is beyond the gunas. The non-attached agent is called sattvika, one blinded by the attachment is rajas, and one who never considers the pros and cons of an act is tamas, and one who has taken refuge in me is beyond the gunas. Faith in the self is sattvika, that in work is rajas. Faith in irreligion is tamas, and that in service unto me is beyond the gunas. Food which is wholesome, pure, and easily available is termed sattvika. That which is merely palatable is rajas, and that which is injurious to health and impure is tamas. Joy which springs from the self is sattvika, that from the sense objects is rajasika. The joy due to ignorance and misery is tamas, and that which is based on me is beyond the gunas. O best of men, all things that are regulated by Purusha and Prakriti, whatever is seen, heard, or thought by the intellect, are modifications of the gunas. All these which make up for the transmigration of man are due to the effects of the gunas. That man who has conquered these gunas which are produced in his mind is attached to me through the path of devotion and is fit for absorption in me. Therefore, let wise men, having attained this body which is conducive to knowledge and realization, winnow out their attachment to the gunas and worship me. The wise meditative man should worship me without attachment to anything else, ever alert and master of his senses. He should conquer rajas and tamas by the culture of sattva. With his intellect pacified, he should conquer sattva with the help of desirelessness. By this means a man is freed from the gunas, gets rid of the subtle body and attains to me. Such a man, freed from his subtle body and the gunas which spring up in the mind, is wholly felt by me, the Brahmana, and he should have nothing to do with the sense objects either outside or inside. Thus concludes chapter 20 from the scripture UDDHAV Gita, the last message of Lord Shri Krishna. Thank you for listening. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha.